Everybody ready? Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Alan Joines, Mayor of Winston-Salem, and I'm joined today by Dave Plyler, the Chairman of the Board of County Commissioners, Mr. Fleming El-Amin, a member of the Board of Commissioners, Cindy Gordineer, the President of the Winston-Salem United Way, and Scott Wierman, the President of the Winston-Salem Foundation. You know, clearly we understand the concerns of our citizens today. Many of them, including me, feel like the world's been turned upside down, and in a lot of ways it has. We all have been approached by individuals who've lost their jobs or who have seen their jobs diminish. With store closings, restaurant closings, we know that many people are out of work. And they've asked, what can we do? People have approached me, what can we do to help? How can we help these individuals through this difficult time? I certainly appreciate the governor's relaxing on some of the unemployment benefit requirements so that individuals can get those benefits sooner. But even with that, we know that many of our citizens are still in situations where they have difficulty getting food, difficulty getting medicines, difficulty with their housing. So today we're very, very excited to create a locally controlled community fund to provide direct assistance to those that have been negatively impacted by the so-called coronavirus here in our community. Today we're announcing the creation of this fund. It's a time, I believe, that we as a city and a community can step up to help our citizens. And I believe it's a time that the city of Winston-Salem, the big C city, can step forward and set the tone for this. And so I want to acknowledge our city manager, Lee Garrity, and his staff who came up with a way that we are committing today $1 million. Sorry. We're creating $1 million to this fund that will be matched by the community. So hopefully we'll have at least $2 million of funds that will be available to help our citizens get through this difficult time. There've already been a number of commitments, and I'm proud today to say that there's been over 600,000 of commitments to go against the city's $1 million, challenge grant that's out there. These funds will be paid through our existing nonprofits in our community who are being overwhelmed by requests or potentially be overwhelmed by requests. And so we'll be sure that these individuals that are coming for help will be clearly vetted, that they actually need the help, and these are the ones who really are the most needed. I want to thank the United Way and Scott, and as well as the Winston-Salem Foundation. United Way has made a contribution, a commitment of $100,000. The Winston-Salem Foundation, $100,000, and then there've been other contributions, commitments from the Haynes Brands, from Wells Fargo, Reynolds American, Wake Forest Baptist Medical Center, the Z. Smith Reynolds Foundation, as well as a number of anonymous individuals who've helped us get to that $600,000 level that's matching us. I feel confident that we're going to get above $2 million that will provide assistance to our community here. We're getting all the details in place. There's still some issues to be worked out, but Scott Wierman in just a few minutes will talk about the criteria that will be out there that we'll use to select the individuals and the folks that will be helped with this. There is a web page that's been set up. It's the COVID-19forsyth.org, COVID-19forsyth.org. Now I'd like to ask Cindy Gordineer, the President of the United Way of Winston-Salem, Forsyth County, to go over some more details. Cindy?
Thank you, Mayor. I am pleased and proud to be able to be part of this, the partnership for our community. United Way is certainly strong because of our community, but the partnership with the city and the county and Winston-Salem Foundation will allow us to, through the unity of our reach across the community, to create one fund that will allow us to do a lot of great things in our community at a time when it's really needed. We are looking at partners to come on board. You heard the mayor mention a couple of the corporate partners who have made commitments at this time. We know there are more to come, but we are also going to invite individual citizens to be part of this. And so they can go to the COVID-19forsyth.org webpage and they can make a gift. So this is not just for the companies in our community. It is also for individuals who feel the need to want to support others who are struggling during this difficult time. Again, the website is covid19forsyth.org. And they will find a page there where they can make their gift in a number of different forms. We also at United Way have directed our partners to use their current funding to move it towards relief efforts for the things that people are going to be most needing in our community. So when they have less resources or their wages have been cut, they're going to be worried about paying their rent, and they're going to be worried about buying food, and they're going to be worried about paying for medication. And so we're asking our partners to shift to being more focused on those basic needs right now during this time, and they are stepping up to that. I do want to emphasize what the mayor has said, that these funds are going to go to nonprofits in the community, not individuals directly. But for individuals who will be seeking access to the funds, they can go to 211. So they can call 211, or they can go to nc211.org online. And that will be their avenue to find those organizations that can provide the help they're seeking. So individuals call 211 or go to 211, nc211.org online, and that will take them to the nonprofits who will be getting resources through this funding. Again, we're very proud to be part of this partnership. I think this is what it means to live in Forsyth County, that we do things this way, and it's a wonderful statement about the community and about the way that it cares about those who need us at times of crisis. So I'd like to ask Scott Wierman, who is president of the Winston-Salem Foundation, to come up and speak.
Thank you and good afternoon. The Winston-Salem Foundation is pleased to be able to partner with the United Way, the City of Winston-Salem, Forsyth County, and a coalition of nonprofits who collaborate in times of crisis. We're well aware that there will be health and economic implications due to COVID-19. We also know that this community is extremely fortunate to have a strong network of nonprofits that have historically risen to the challenge during past crises. Over the course of the past few days, I've been comforted to know that these organizations have already quickly mobilized to try to prepare to serve the needs of those who have been or will be impacted by COVID-19. But I also realize the potential magnitude of this event is unprecedented, and it cannot be business as usual. It is time for our community to rally together to support these nonprofits as they provide vital services to our neighbors. I have also been encouraged by the number of individuals who've already reached out and asked how they can assist. The Winston-Salem Foundation Board met this morning and made an initial grant to help seed the COVID-19 response fund for Forsyth County, joining several other local funders and private individuals. Later today, the foundation will be communicating to local nonprofits additional grant support opportunities the foundation is making to assist organizations in adapting their business models in order to mitigate the impacts of COVID-19. Additional information on these grant opportunities will be available on the foundation's website later today. The COVID-19 Response Fund will provide flexible resources for immediate, emerging, and long-term needs to organizations working with communities who are disproportionately impacted by the coronavirus and the economic consequences of the outbreak. The fund is designed to complement the work of government and public health officials to address all aspects of the outbreak in Forsyth County. The first phase of proactive and responsive grants will fund nonprofits with one-time general operating support in order to assist with immediate needs to the economically vulnerable populations impacted by COVID-19. An advisory committee made up of local funders and community institutions working directly with impacted populations will oversee the application process. More specifically, the initial funding will benefit disproportionately impacted individuals and families, including residents without health insurance or access to paid sick leave, individuals experiencing homelessness, healthcare workers, hospitality and service industry workers, unauthorized immigrant populations, and communities of color, in particular residents with limited English language proficiency. An application process for the organizations to request these funds will be available by March the 27th. Additional phases of future funding will be developed by evaluating the funds available, community needs, and the government's response. As we all know, this situation is extremely fluid, and we are committed to remaining flexible so as to best meet the needs that arise in the days and weeks to come. In advance of the community's support, we know we can count on, and the heroic efforts of our dynamic nonprofit sector, I say thank you. It's now my pleasure to ask and introduce Commissioner Dave Plyler and Commissioner Fleming El-Amin to join me at the podium. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Scott. I'd like to paraphrase a former mayor of this town, Wayne Corpening, who used to say at occasions like this is a great day in Winston-Salem. It's a great day in Forsyth County. I have had a lot of people ask me, well, what's going to happen to all these people who, when we shut down things, who depend on daily work? What's going to happen to them if they don't have any money? They can't get the money. Well, folks, this is, from my perspective, to use another phrase, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. And I don't know if Alan's ever been called a tough guy, but this is really something when you go out and ask people for hundreds of thousands of dollars and they respond. And they respond because they care about Forsyth County, and I think that's the main reason we're here. We're looking out for each other. And if you don't have that kind of attitude, you've got a real problem. And I frankly have never seen, in the years I've been on this earth, anything like this. When I was at Channel 12 many years ago, we had a lot of crises, but nothing like this, where everybody's involved, from the federal government to the state government to where we are today. And frankly speaking, if you take folks like the Winston-Salem Foundation, the United Way of Forsyth County, what better way to do it? But they have stepped up and they're ready to go to work. The other part of this equation is we're dealing with an emotional issue. And I don't know what's going to happen. None of us know exactly what's going to happen. The main thing I know is we're doing something about it, and we're trying, and we have hope. My biggest concern is whether or not we can make this thing extend beyond the conflicts, the bounds of Forsyth County, and get other folks interested, because we're very fortunate to live in a community that has a lot of money, and I would say that with tongue in cheek, because you have to define what is a lot of money. But we worry about people, we care about people, and when I speak, I say that on behalf of the county commissioners. One of the people that I've thought about quite often today was Joseph Swift. He is the Director of Public Health in Forsyth County, and it's his job to keep us all healthy. And I think he's, in the last few days, he has risen to the occasion, his people have risen to the occasion, and Forsyth County, with public health, is blessed with a leader like Mr. Swift, and what he does and what he's going to continue to do for the people of our area. I'd like now to introduce Fleming El-Amin, who is a valuable member of the Forsyth County Board of Commissioners.
Thank you very much, Dave, and I'll be very brief. Our director's name is actually Joshua Swift of Public Health instead of Joseph. But county government is open. We are encouraging citizens to call in if you need something from the county versus coming in at this point, because of the swiftness of this problem we're confronting. We don't want to put anybody in harm's way. So we want to just encourage you to know that indeed our city and county are working together in this effort with our nonprofits. The heartbeat of a county is local government. The heartbeat of all government is local government. And this is a prime example of how we can work together to solve immediate needs in our community. So as a native citizen, I'm so proud of this community, and we pray God's blessings on you. Be safe, be considerate, follow your guidelines, and let's go to work as a county government and do the best we can with the city to make our citizens more comfortable in this great time of need. Again, thank you very much.
Thank you all very much. Let me just say that a number of our council members would like to have been with us today, but unfortunately they have self-isolated themselves because of a potential exposure they may have had in Washington, D.C. at a meeting, but all 8 of them that I've talked to are 100% behind this initiative of the city. You might be asking, how is the city going to come up with $1 million to do this with a very tight budget? And again, the city manager, through an innovative way, we're going to be able to use monies from our 2014 and 2018 bonds that were approved by the voters for economic development. There's dollars left in those accounts that are not allocated to a specific project, so we're not actually having to take money away from any particular project, but these are unallocated dollars. And we've gotten rulings from our council that the use of these economic development bonds is appropriate for this because we are working to maintain the economic vitality of our community, and that's key for us to do that. We'd be glad to entertain questions from the media or others.
We have not done that yet, but that's not to say we won't.
Thanks, Wesley. That's a good one. Yeah, I'd say that hopefully help is on the way quickly. As Scott Wierman mentioned, we've got a great organization of nonprofits already in place here in our community that can deliver these services. We just got to get them the resources to do it. So we'll be very quickly working to get the information out to these organizations so they can get the information out to the people. I had a conversation this morning, for instance, with a restaurant association representative, and I think using them, they can get word out to the servers and waiters and waitresses who've been displaced quickly to make this fund available to them as well. I didn't repeat the question. And the question I was just answering was, how will people know about it? Other questions? I think we'll provide in certain criteria, but let me ask Cindy to go ahead and speak to that.
So there will be an application process for the organizations to let us know how they would be using the dollars. And then we assume that they will probably ask for qualifying information from those who come to them to be sure that the dollars are going to the most effective and those who have been hit the hardest. So there will be accountability built in, but we also know that it's important that we have speed. So the question is, will there be a application process? And so we know that speed is of the essence as well. And so we have to balance accountability and speed at the same time, and we will be doing so knowing that people are waiting.
As a follow-up to that, are these organizations that are already in the Opera connection with United Way or with the foundation, or do you anticipate other organizations that maybe are connected to you guys coming up and wanting some of this money? How will that get?
It is open to any organization that qualifies under the guidelines, but they do not have to be already tied to United Way or the Winston-Salem Foundation. They will have to meet the criteria.
Is that 211 currently active?
211 is active. It is always active. And it is a statewide system. So even if you were, the question was, is 211 currently active? It is a statewide system, and if you are looking for help for someone who lives in another county, a family member or something, you can call 211 and ask and say, I need help in that county, and ask for information, as well as here in Forsyth County. So 211 is a robust system that has been ramped up, and the governor has designated it as the avenue to come in to help in the state, but we also use it heavily here in Forsyth County, and we'll be relying on it to give people access when they need it, as quickly as they need it, where they know that they can get to somebody right away, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Do you want to take that?
So the question was, how was it decided that working through nonprofits was the most efficient way to get support to individuals? As I mentioned, we have a really strong nonprofit network in this community that has decades of experience. They are doing this work day in, day out. What's happening now is it's being amplified. So they have systems, processes, procedures in place, and they're really kind of the front line. This is what's in their DNA and what they do every day. And so marshaling additional resources to help them expand what they do seems to us to be the most efficient way. That's not to say somewhere down the road, longer term, there may not be other avenues, but we feel like this is the most efficient way and the best use of dollars, donated dollars, to make an impact on those who are facing the impact of the virus. So the question is how quickly we might be able to get the funds out. So the application will be available no later than next Friday, March the 27th. This will be a rolling process. So we would expect that as early as the first week of April that we will have opportunities to make decisions on some funding. And obviously it also depends on how quickly we can receive the dollars so that we can disperse it. But we will, once a decision is made by the advisory committee, checks will go out within a week so the agencies can put that money to work.
And I just want to emphasize again, as Cindy Gordineer mentioned, it's a balance between speed and accountability. My council, when talking with them, clearly made it very clear that they wanted to make sure this money got into the hands of the individuals they needed. It wouldn't be administrative charges skimmed off the top, and it's going to those folks directly. So that will be one of the mantras from the city standpoint, obviously, to make sure it's getting directly into the hands of people who really need it. The website address again is the COVID-19forsyth.org, COVID-19forsyth.org. Other questions? Thank you all very much for being here. Thank you. And we are social distancing here.
Pretty good team today.
How'd you like the chair?